Unleashed, a company-wide theme overtaking the Coffinverse in 2023.
Empress Death. Empress Death. Empress Death is the main villain in our new, upcoming Lady Death Cybernetic Desecration Kickstarter, launching next Wednesday, February 8th, 7 p.m. Arizona time. Empress Death. Do not forget her. Everybody, welcome. This is Brian Pulido, proud publisher at Coffin Comics, coming at you with an interactive preview of Cybernetic Desecration. Last Wednesday, I did the reveal of the great majority of rewards and cool items for the campaign. But this week, how it's going to be different is I encourage your interactivity about this whole subject. So while I do the whole preview in a fresh, new way. So this is what it's up. This is what's up. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Arizona time, Lady Death Cybernetic Desecration is coming at you live. This story, written by myself and Mike McLean, illustrated by Diego Bernard, colored by Cece De La Cruz, and lettered by veteran letterer Marshall Dillon, has been cooking up for you for a while. Cannot wait to present this story to you. So this story takes our Lady Death and thrusts her into a future alternative Earth, 13 years in the future, where that Lady Death has become Empress Lady Death. And Empress Lady Death has been very successful at bringing about Megadeath. She has murdered over 7 billion, close to 8 billion souls. And now that Earth is down to the last 999 living souls. This is the area that our Lady Death finds herself in. And we have some pages that I can show you from the story. This is right off the bat, her arrival. No clothing, no weapons. This is where our character begins. And instantaneously, she finds herself meeting characters that you guys and gals may know and love, but they're new and they're different. This is Commander Xander. This is Zeke Xander. You're going to have to read to understand. And this is Rada Beauregard, part of the Great Southern Alliance, trying to oppose Empress Death. Empress Death has used untold monsters, like zillions of monsters, to bring about Megadeath. And her real goal is to end all life. And our Lady Death finds herself in the position of the hero, of actually trying to prevent this from occurring and not joining her. Here's some more pages and showing some more characters. There's Loco from the La Muerta cast and others. We find Lady Death going up against some of the main types of monsters in the story. We even find our Lady Death going up against a character recently introduced called Cascade from the Trust. And in that storyline, she's actually a hero. Here, maybe not so much. Long story short, adopting Cascade's armor, our Lady Death now becomes empowered with her own new armor, and we redub her Cyber Lady Death. You'll notice the weapon she has is floating above her forearm, this electrified sword knife. And the name of that weapon is Throat Cutter. Throat Cutter. That gets to join the pantheon of fun Lady Death swords and weapons. Throat Cutter. So that's the story. That's the team. That's the setup. To tell you more would to rob you of the pleasure of discovery. So that's the setup. But please, let's feast our eyes on some of the goodies that we have to offer. And remember,
Oh, hey, we got Juan Martinez. He's
Juan, how are
joining us
you?
here.
How are you doing, my
Very
friend?
Sweet. We got Chris Naples. He's loving it, of course. And Bill Andre saying, woo, woo,
Bill.
look at that. Hell yeah.
What?
We got Rick saying, hello, Brian.
Hello,
Love it.
everybody. How are you?
Oh, of course, we got Jay Taylor in the house.
Jay, nice to hear from you. Nice to see you.
And Carrie, if you got a question, looks like a little emoji with the hand raised. If you got a question, go
Okay.
ahead and send it in.
In the meantime, I want to address a request by Sworn Nation, which is folks wanted to get a better look at the Sworn Club Year 3 t-shirt. And it's a humdinger. So here, feast your eyes on the shirt. This is a closer image. The image is drawn by Mike Chrome, and it shows our 3 main female characters in a ritualistic setting that recalls some vintage Black Sabbath shirts of the past. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. And we are definitely homaging with the word Sworn Club, an old Black Sabbath shirt, no doubt. So yeah, that's the ladies led by Lady Death. So that is the shirt. The shirt's going to be a humdinger. Get it and bring it to Sworn Fest. Again, happy to answer any questions you may have about what you've seen so far and what I'm about to show you. So we are naming this event for the year, which is a story-wide theme, Evilverse Unleashed. And this is because a lot of our characters are going to find themselves up against mirrors of themselves, perhaps even darker versions of themselves. So in the case of Lady Death, Empress Death. Later on in the year in May, La Muerta finds herself up against a mirror-like character named Roja. And then later in the year with Hell Witch, for her storyline Bitchcraft, she finds herself up against her opposite, Angel Vex, which is a brand new character just introduced. You will have to get your hands on Hell Witch when we ship to Kickstarter in March to learn more. But Angel Vex and what's going on with Hell Witch, I think will be quite a surprise for everyone involved. So let me talk about some of the main editions available for your consideration on the Kickstarter. The first one is the main edition we call the Premiere. As all our books are, the Premiere edition will be 48 pages and square bound. And if we are lucky enough to unlock free bonus items early, the Lady Death logo will be silver foil. Now, we want to commemorate this very special year of story with a first appearance cover by Empress Death. There is no doubt she's major. So we have a brand new logo for her crafted by Marshall Dillon, and this gorgeous image by Diego Bernard. In fact, Diego did both these covers, and they're colored by series colorist CC De La Cruz. Some things you're going to notice right off the bat is historically Lady Death has the little black balls of energy around her feet, but in this case she has these 2 larger balls. What are they about? How will they be applied to the story? You also notice some differences. She has black pupils, she has black lipstick, and even her fingertips are dark. So there are some significant differences. And if at all possible to go even like darker and more evil with the character, like that was the objective. And as I found myself writing this character, I was like, man, she's cold. Like we all know that Lady Death's cold. And for those of you who read Lady Death as a supporting character in the comic Evil Ernie, like she was straight up evil. This is the evil version of the evil Lady Death. Like she's cold. She's out for Megadeth. I mean, that's what she's about. Next up, we have our homage edition, which is by Stephen Butler and Dan Feldmeyer. And we are homaging X-Men 141. That is a very beloved storyline called Days of Future Past. And we really went the distance. You're going to notice the status of a lot of our characters, and that could be a clue to what's going on in the story, whether they're wanted, they're dead, who knows. This storyline does say that allies could become enemies, enemies could become allies, and many of your beloved characters, they're going to die right in front of your eyes. It's a tough story to write. Like chapter 17, that is Cybernetic, that's coming up. But in the summer, we complete the storyline with the story Imperial Requiem, and that is like a brutal story. Next up, oh, is there a comment?
Troy's asking, so our launch that's coming up.
Yes, Troy.
Wednesday, will that launch be for staff only, or can fans come for that as well?
Well, as of right now, I think we're doing a staff only. We're prepping for the Monty Moore Artist Celebration, etc. And candidly, HQ is all over the place right now. It's it'd be a treacherous place to walk through because we're like deep into production. Next up, we have the hardcover edition by Paolo Pantalena, and a very nice cyberpunk interpretation. Our story does take place in the future. It does have cyberpunk leanings. There's a lot of wild technology and DNA run amok. So, of course, we're going to check some of those cool future cyber quality pieces of entertainment. Also, next up from Hedwin Salvador and Mike DiBalfo is their interpretation of a cyberpunk Lady Death and a cyberpunk-like future. I will tell you that inside the story, we're actually blending the cyber aesthetic with horror aesthetic. So it's the combo, you know, it's not all just slick poppy. In the actual story, it's like a wild combination. Next up, our naughty edition is by Eric Basaluda and Ula Moss.
So I got a comment from SSS3 Speed. He's saying, looking forward to my first ever Lady Death Kickstarter.
That's wonderful. Thank you for being here. That's fantastic. If you haven't, consider signing up to Kickstarter now. Get your account all set up and go to our pre-launch page, and you'll be notified when we launch. Because since you're new to Lady Death, if this Kickstarter is similar to the ones we've had in the past, they tend to go really, really fast. Like, so I'm warning you pleasantly, get on board, like get signed up, don't wait, sign up now, get the pre-launch page set up, etc., etc. Next up, the Heavy Metal Edition is by Dawn McTagg. And here Lady Death handily seems to dispose of some sort of cyborg. You know, truth be told, the whole premise of moving the story into this direction was one that, you know, I was sort of holding my breath on because I didn't know if people would really want to come for this particular ride. And in fact, the last 2 or 3 or 4 years of storyline, I felt the whole thing was a big risk. So it's great. And, you know, on behalf of the entire creative team, we are so gratified that you are willing to come with us on this wild ride. Because let's be honest, Lady Death, particularly in the 90s, she's a sword and sorcery character. And, you know, to bring her and have her jumping through different genres, for us, it's really refreshing and fun. And as many of you know out there, like I'm a legitimate comic fan. So to be able to kind of play with some of the genres and go in there, it's just been a blast. So
Brett was asking, who did the X-Men homage?
So the X-Men homage is by Stephen Butler and Dan Feldmeyer. Dan Feldmeyer did all the trade dress, and Stephen did the original cover. Next up, we have the Mega Foil Edition by Sun K. This is a really cool cyber Lady Death. Very evocative. I just love all the skulls. The design work is incredible and a lot of fun. Next up, rounding out the holofoil edition is by Mike Crone. And this is just another amazing Asian-inspired image. You know, it's interesting, folks. You don't see it just yet, but I would assert to you that every cover you've ever seen from Lady Death operates inside the continuity. That these are little glimpses, sometimes prophecies or glimpses into alternate realities beyond the Infinityverse, or we're just sort of guiding you towards some hints towards the future. I was actually doing a little refining of Hell Witch 6 today. That story is called Bitchcraft. And, you know, when I look at these Asian-inspired imagery, there's just the beginning of some things happening in that part of the world. I mean, it's been happening in my mind, and we're sort of alluding to it. But characters like Hana and Angel Vex, they speak to something else that's happening over in that neck of the woods. And I can't wait for you guys to see that in the years that follow.
Backwoods Collector saying, my first Kickstarter too.
Backwoods Collector, welcome. And again, as I mentioned to other folks, please consider signing up to Kickstarter now. Start your account. If you have not, please sign up either to our newsletter by going to coffincomics.com in the upper right, or if it probably in this feed up in the top is actually going to be a link to our pre-launch page. You can click on that and it'll let you know when the Kick launches, and I highly encourage you to do it.
Don is asking, is the Trade Volume 4 dropping with this Kickstarter?
Well, thank you for asking. The Trade Volume 4 is indeed dropping on this Kickstarter, and we have them complete and in-house. So this one is over 216 pages. It covers chapters 11 through 14, and it's a thick one. Yeah. So all some of the recent wonderful stuff. Covers by Mike Chrome. And then we also have it in a limited edition hardcover, and that cover is by Ryan Brown. So yes, indeed, thank you for asking. They are going live. We'll also offer the previous trades individually and as a bundle. That way you could kind of stock up if you want to get caught up in the reading. We have volume 1 through 4, and et cetera, et cetera. Another question.
Yeah, Matt is asking, so he's saying if she's that evil.
Yeah.
It's not popping up. I wonder what Empress Death did to her universe version of Hell Witch.
That will be addressed in the story, my friend. Thank you. Yeah. I'm actually addressing probably the status of the great majority of all the Coffinverse characters in this story. So that will be addressed on page 20 of Cybernetic Desecration. You've been warned. Next up, we love having Dan Mendoza come and do some covers. It's great. Later this year, we're doing the Lady Death versus Zombie Tramp crossover published by Still Ill Princess, launching on November 4th. But for now, we actually have Dan Mendoza contributing to this campaign with his Deathinator covers. That's a little riff on Terminator, obviously. Deathinator. Death seems to go great with so many different things. So those are the Deathinator covers, available in nice and naughty.
Chad saying, you mentioned Angel Vex earlier. Have we seen Angel Vex yet?
So Angel Vex is introduced in Hell Witch Chapter 5, which was the Kickstarter we just completed. She has been on a couple of covers of that campaign, and you will get her first appearance story when we ship the Kickstarter in March. And we're prepping it. I'm signing it now. Most of the stuff is in, so we're in good shape. So yeah, Angel Vex is a fun character. And I could say this. You're going to have to read it, but I could say that Angel Vex is going to have a significant impact on Hell Witch in this story. So there you go. Next up, a lot of people like some of our upper tiers. We got the High Roller, Mega Baller, Legend, and even the VIP, the Mega VIP. So I'm going to show you some books from that element. First up, we have the beautiful Ryan Kincaid series of chase covers, and they are limited to 50 of each color, and these are part of the High Roller tier. This is the High Roller tier. So the High Roller tier is actually going to include quite a few of the editions that you just saw, and additionally it will include this exclusive cover by Monty Moore. Beautiful, super cool. Lady Death virtually as like a robot, changing into a robotic plane. And then one copy of the Chase and one copy of the Mystery Envelope. And I'll show you those soon too. But next up, we have the Mega Baller tier. I think we call it Cyber Baller tier for this cool campaign. And that would include everything that we've discussed so far and the exclusive Metal Jewel edition by Pascal Coulano. Beautiful piece. This will be jeweled by Shannon G, as will the Mike DiBalfo image. And then the limited edition Dawn McTague, the limited edition Naughty DiBalfo, and the limited edition Naughty Sun K. So you get those on the Mega Baller. Now, we also have the Legend tier. Please feel free to take a look. The legend for this particular campaign is Tony Daniel. Tony Daniel, known for his great run on a book called The 10th in the 90s, and then moving his efforts over to DC for Batman and the whole DC universe, and most recently known for his Image series with Scott Snyder, Nocterra. Very happy to have Tony on board. And our Ultimate Edition by Jenny Frisson. Jenny Frisson, this is her first ever Lady Death cover. And those two editions, the Ultimate and the Legend, make up the Ultimate Legend tier. But if you could believe it, Coffin Comics gets completely carried away, and we have a thing called the Mega VIP tier. So the Mega VIP tier includes everything you've seen to date and the guaranteed Metal Legend cover, limited to 15, the official handcrafted edition, which features individually hand-colored editions of the Tony Daniel work, limited to 15, colored by Sean Forney. And it also includes this mysterious edition that will be revealed to you when we do our pre-launch party next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Arizona. So I don't know if anyone has any questions up until this point, but that is your basics before we start getting into things like our prints, our cards, and our mystery envelopes.
So Don's asking, I see there's a trade catch-up bundle for the trade paperback, but there is a catch-up bundle for trade hardcovers.
There are, although I do believe the volume, let me back up a minute. I don't believe there will be, because I think that our volume 1 hardcover is sold out. However, if you were interested in the trades that we did, hardcovers that we do have, we have them available to you now at coffincomicsshop.com.
Vegetable Head's asking, does it being called Evilverse hint to the return of Evil Ernie by chance? Well,
that actually it does not. I lost the rights to Evil Ernie in a business bankruptcy in August of 2002, along with Purgatory and other characters, and I have no involvement with them any longer. So, nope, that's not what it implies at all. It's just the mirror of the characters.
Vasquez is asking, they were saying this is going to be their first Kickstarter as well.
Well, welcome. This is wonderful to have all first-time Kickstarter folk. Thank you for looking at the work, considering our wares, and I can't encourage you enough to sign up for a Kickstarter account now, and sign up to our pre-launch page so you can be notified automatically upon launch and get in on it. Because you'll be if history repeats itself, you'd be pretty surprised at how fast and wild our campaigns launch, if the comic gods shine upon us, and we humbly request they do.
Here's a fun question from Stolen Zombies asking, how physically strong is Lady Death?
So I think Lady Death at this point could probably lift around 20 tons. So she could take on anyone in that kind of range, so about 20 tons. Now, obviously, she is a skilled swordswoman. She is known for dirty tricks. She is a witch and knows quite a few spells. She has other abilities in her armory. She's starting to display leadership. And I just can't emphasize enough that she's up for dirty tricks. She obviously has a horse Visago. She has wolves she could stick on people. Her latest sword, Oblivion, when she kills somebody with that sword, they don't go to heaven, they don't go to hell, they go to oblivion. They just cease to exist completely. They are not on any plane of existence. So she's a brute force weapon for sure. Would you guys like to see the mystery envelopes for this particular campaign? If so, let's go take a look. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't let you guys and gals know that if we are able to unlock free bonuses early on in the campaign, we will unlock 2 32-page new comics. And they are, first, Dan Mendoza Lady Death Master Edition. This is 32 pages with 24 pages of Dan Mendoza art and pinups involving Lady Death. And then here is the Cyber Art Edition. And these are the finished goods. This is what the cool back cover looks like. And this is inside is a lot of the art that's associated with this particular campaign. So these are done, and just imagine, so for as little as $29, you get the Premier Edition, these 2 comics, anything else that we unlock, and free US shipping. So it's not a bad deal. So let's talk about some of the mystery envelopes. We love to do mystery envelopes. This time around, our mystery envelopes are limited to 1,350. I am letting you know now we will not be adding more to the campaign. It's 1,350, and that's that. And they include several Omega editions, several artist proof editions, several BP editions, several publisher file copies, several copies from the vault, and this luscious Dawn McTague metal edition, limited to 50, I believe. This super cool Colette Turner Pearl edition, beautiful watercolor by Colette. Chad Harding Pulp Friction Holofoil, limited to 50. We have some very cool design editions showing how we developed the look of Empress Death, limited to 50 copies. And the same with Cyber Death, limited to 50. We have some returning superstars contributing some cool stuff, including Monty Moore. We have a couple of sci-fi pieces by David Harrigan. Here's Deatharella, limited to 50. Here's an homage of Tarna from Heavy Metal. So this is Deatharella of Mars. And then we started getting into the 80s vibes. So here is New Wave Lady Death by David Harrigan. Here's Naughty New Wave Lady Death by David Harrigan. And then here's Arcade Lady Death by David Harrigan. Check out that cool logo that reminds us of back in the day. Now that's not all. We actually have a whole nother row. So let's get into them, shall we?
Chad is asking, will the Zombie Tramp issue be canon to Lady Death? So I guess the crossover.
Yes, I don't see why not. Sure. Yes. Yeah, it really happened. It really happened in an imaginary story. So next up we have our Richard Ortiz legend type covers. Beautiful commissions by Ortiz that are now editions. We have the cool black and white by Monty Moore. No edition on this campaign is more than 50 copies. It's either limited to 50 or below. Next up, another cool Monty Moore, Colette Turner. Upcoming are some Naughty Nice editions by Matt Meerhoff. By Anthony Spey. I'm very happy to announce that Anthony Spey has agreed to do a dozen new covers. So we are very excited. We love the work. Jose Varese. Nice and naughty rockstar style. This gorgeous one-off Lady Death by Joe Prado. Joe Prado is an inker known for DC Comics, and gosh, I go back with Joe over 20 plus years. Here is a wild and radical bloodbath type cover by Monty Moore. One of those rare bloody covers. And then there is the corn dog cover by David Harrigan. I don't know what he's doing teasing me about these corn dogs. I'm just not going to eat them. I'm not going to eat them until the day one of our campaigns goes over $666,000. And even then, I'm only going to consider it. Rounding out the campaign is this hyper limited Sun K, limited to 50. Many years ago, we released the Naughty, and now here is the Nice, limited to 50. What am I thinking? Kind of cuckoo. And then here is a beautiful edition by Lorenzo Sperlongia, limited to 50. And this is actually a gift from Lorenzo to myself. And I got permission from Lorenzo to reproduce this as an edition that you guys and gals can have. So I don't know if there are any questions, but I would love to show you some of the prints that we have. Prints are really fun. So this time around, we've heard what some people said, and we're sticking with the print set concept, but we're breaking them up into specific categories. We have a nice set, and then we have a naughty set. So here we have the nice set over here with art by Paolo Pantalena, Mike Crone, Dawn McTague, Mike DiBalfo, and Sun K. That is a murderer's row of top talent. Also, we have a Tony Daniel Legend print and a Jenny Frisson print. They will come with the premiere edition or without, up to you. Next up, as we have done each campaign, we love to commemorate the campaign. And so we have the premiere commemorative edition, which will be serial numbered, and the commemorative naughty edition. Our next print set is the Naughty set. This involves imagery by Richard Ortiz, Pascal Culano, Mike DiBalfo, Dawn, and Sun again. Now, some of you have enjoyed the series of fine art prints we've done, and we do fine art prints that are 18 by 24, printed on archival quality paper and archival quality inks. And this particular image by Tony Daniel is our fine art print for the campaign, and this one is named Hell's Gate. Hell's Gate. We also like to do 24 by 36 posters. And we have the official one, the Cyber Siren that we are doing on display. It gives you a sense of the size, the scope, and the scale. This one is framed. It is 24 by 36, and I think it makes quite a statement. Now, any card fans out there, we are doing metal cards. We love doing the metal cards. I love doing cards, always have. I guess I always will. It's what I'm all about. So this time around, we're doing them in 3 distinct sets. Set 1 is essentially nice. Artwork by Mike Crone, Mike DiBalfo, Dawn McTagg, Sun K, and Paolo Pantalena. Naughty set, art by Sun K, Mike DiBalfo, Dawn McTagg, Pascal Culano, and Ebas. And then we're actually putting those 2 sets together and offering a quote-unquote ultimate set. So that's set 1, set 2, and the following cards by Ryan Kincaid, Diego Bernard, Monty Moore, Jenny Frisson, and Tony Daniel. This is the first time we've done that, and feels pretty good. You know, the reason why I'm doing it is when previously I'll build a campaign and there's always 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 images that people want, but we just don't include because we limit the amount. And I figured, okay, you know what? We all like them. We want everyone the chance to get the image, so we're doing it. Now, you may notice that I am wearing some cool patches. That's because I am wearing the Lady Death patch set for this campaign. So check them out. They are, what you're looking in the center is the back patches, which you can see right here. The back patches over the top is the Death Crew rocker. The middle patch is by Ryan Brown. The bottom patch says the thing we all know and love, Long Live Lady Death. And then the front patches include the name patches, Sworn in Undead, rectangular patches, art by Diego, art by Monty Moore, and coffin-shaped patches. That patch set, I think, is available for $59, and I encourage everybody to get one. And then come to Swornfest next February 2024, and everybody will be patched up. They'll have their shirts, they'll have their patch set, put it on a vest. That's what we do here. We just sew them onto a vest, and you're off and running. So I don't know if there's any questions, comments. Then all I want to tell you is remind you again, this is the image for the Swornfest, the Sworn Club Year 3 t-shirt. Feast your eyes on it. It's nice. It's by Mike Crone. All right, here we are, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. 7 days or less until Lady Death's cybernetic desecration is unleashed on the world. Tell all your friends. Tell all your enemies. Get everyone you know involved. Actually, I make it really simple. Just tell one friend. You know, that friend you have or haven't been in touch with, the people you go to concerts with, people you hang with, you play D&D with, you have beers with. Just tell one person. Tell them about Coffin Comics. Tell them about what's coming up and ask them to be involved in this thing because you know it's fun. We know it's fun. So get in on it. Here we go, folks. Counting down. Be there February 8th, 7 p.m. Arizona time. But even before then, be here. Same place at 6:30 p.m. for our pre-show, where we're probably going to be drinking some alcohol and nervously awaiting the launch of the campaign. So you are cordially invited. So be there. Lady Death Cybernetic Desecration coming at ya. Talk soon, everybody.
Evilverse Unleashed, a company-wide